I'm going to share a story, which I've never shared before. I grew up on Mashalou Parkway, and I had, the first 5 years of my life, my formative years, I had what we would consider four parents. I had my mother and my father, and my grandma, and my Uncle Herb Saturn, who I adored. My Uncle Herb Saturn, now all the men in my family were all veterans of World War II. And my father always had a smile on his face. He came back from the war. I later found out after he died that he wrote shows overseas. And he just was a contagion of fun, funny, and positive energy. My Uncle Herbert, who again, from the time I was born till the time I was 5 when he left, I used to say, Uncle Herbert, when I grow up, can I marry you? I just adored my Uncle Herbert. He was gorgeous, he was tall, he was my hero. However, he had a very dark side. My father was in the Army. My Uncle Herbert was a young Marine. I think he lied about his age. He was in the South Pacific. And he watched his friends and colleagues die. And he survived in the South Pacific on bananas. And when he came back to the United States, he never had another banana. I mean, he was very secretive, very withholding, best sense of humor, the life of the party. As a matter of fact, when he was at Camp Bar, Mark Charlap, who was named Moose Charlap, was his camper, and Uncle Herbert named him Moose, which stuck with him. Everybody loved Uncle Herbert, but there was something very wrong with Uncle Herbert, and I didn't realize. My mother used to say to me, well, you know, you have to understand, he came back from the war, and I said, God damn it, the war's over 60 years. What is this? He was so troubled, he used to leave the apartment and walk for hours and just would be by himself. And yes, he had success, but we had a major fracture, and I never got it because he was not a complete person. He lost himself, and he never found himself because in those days, you know, PTSD and everything else was pushed under the carpet. And I myself was not forgiving because I didn't understand until my friend Ann Akers said, come do this with me and Ed Schloman. So I want to dedicate this to my Uncle Herb Saturn. There's always one you can't forget. There's always one you can't forget. One who roams around your mind. One that you can't leave behind. Other smiles seem painted on. Other nights, they're here and gone. Other loves, they soon grow dim. In other arms, you think of him. Across a room or down the street, you always hope perchance you'll meet. Why can't this love die? You can't forget. There is regret. You can't forget. You can't forget. Rest in peace, Uncle Herbert.